Hello and welcome to another unit by unit review. Today we continue to look at the different units of the new Drukhari Codex, and this is our special character series. On to the second one, Drazhar, Master of Blades. Let's begin. Hello and welcome to the next installment of the unit by unit series for the Drukhari Codex here on SkaredCast. So we've taken a look at the troops, HQs, Lilith Hesprax, Uri and Rakarth. So make sure you check all those other videos on the playlist on the channel. Today we look at Drazhar, the Master of Blades, where Lilith is the Queen of Knives, Drazhar is the Master of Blades. So as always, this video is in two different little segments. The first, we talk about the lore and we dive into who Drazhar is and get into the mood, per se. And then we talk a little bit about his statistics, in-game use, how to better use him for different things. And, best of all, I get to give you some ideas and thoughts. A huge shout out to all the denizens, the Patreons who help support the channel. If you'd like to become a member, check the link down below and become a Patreon as well for some exclusive content and giveaways. Even amongst the insular ranks of the Incubi, the enigmatic Drazhar remains a mystery. All that is known of his origins is that he entered the Great Shrine of the Incubi, unannounced and unbidden, clad in the segmented armor of a senior member of the Incubus Creed. He cut his way into the inner sanctum, leaving those who tried to stop him clutching bloody stumps as their blades clattered to the flagstones and saluted the shrine's enthroned hierarch in challenge. Seems pretty boss to me. The duel was over within minutes, and the newcomer stepped over the hierarch's dismembered body. By rights, the challenger was entitled to take the throne then and there, but Drazhar merely cleaned his blade and sketched a simple bow. After weeks of rumor and gossip, it was confirmed that none of the Incubi shrines across Commorragh had ever heard of Drazhar or recognized his unique, ancient battle gear. Some say he is Arha, the fabled dark father of the Incubi incarnate, sort of like a phoenix lord. Though he has never shown any inclination to take up the position of hierarch or clavex, his merciless skill in the battle arts of the Incubi is unparalleled. So he occupies the post of executioner, the champion of his order, lethality personified. Though Drazhar has become an integral part of the Great Shrine since his dramatic appearance, he has famously never spoken nor removed his helmet, not even to eat or sleep. Makes sense. Drazhar alone remains incorruptible by emotion or pride. He simply exists to kill. Nothing more, nothing less. Taller and more lithe than even other Incubi, Drazhar has a deadly mantis-like speed, and he strikes with his grimly filigree demiclaves at any that so much as raise a weapon in his direction. Those chosen as Drazhar's prey have few options other than to commend themselves to the gods they hold dear. For once they are marked by the Master of Blades, they have only seconds to live. Drazhar is one of very few Commorrights whose atrocities are widely admired within the Dark City. The deeds of this enigmatic bladesman are often spoken about, particularly by those Drukhari who managed to secure his services on a real space raid. There are countless stories of his macabre work, such as the time he personally butchered every Imperial defender in the spire of Hive Tarson, or when he single-handedly dispatched a trio of custodian guard at close quarters. Drahzar, the Master of Blades. So as you can tell, he's pretty killy. Drazhar is one of my favorite characters in the Drukhari Codex. And why? Because he's a badass. He just goes around cutting stuff up. He's like an incubi that cares not about the incubi, and all he wants is kill stuff. So I love that they've left him really enigmatic, because in future releases, or 10 or 20 years down the road, they'll be able to kind of expand his fluff and his lore and really give him more of a personality. But right now his personality is death. That is Drazhar. So let's kind of look at his rules. Kind of jump into what you get when taking Drazhar. Now, he's not a readily available miniature. I only recently got a Drahzar model. I was using stand-in incubi from the old Vect kit. They were like the old school incubi from Vect's Dace of Destruction, or Dice of Destruction. Dace of Destruction. And it's really cool to physically have the model that you saw in the introduction video. Very neat. Couple of blades. Really gonna love painting that model. And if you have him, luck by you. There's some really good conversions out there too. If you haven't seen, a lot of Drukhari Archons like yourself might need to convert an incubi, or a combination of scourge legs and incubi body and some blades and things to make your own. Needless to say, Drazhar is one of the most iconic characters in Drukhari lore. Let's see his rules. So he's 6 power level. He is by far the most expensive character in all of the Drukhari Codex. He's 120 points, I believe, which doubles out a succubus, or doubles out most other characters, almost doubling out a complete 120 points. He almost doubles out an Archon as well. He's 30 points more expensive than Urien Rakath even. So are his points really worth it? Well, let's take a look. He's movement of 7, has a weapon skill and ballistic skill of 2+, even though he doesn't have any guns. So maybe you put him in a killer strong point or something. He's strength and toughness 4, so he's stronger than most Eldar, and he's tougher than most Eldar. Strength and toughness 4 makes him essentially Space Marine strength and toughness. He does have 5 wounds, and he has 4 attacks. As you can see, that's pretty straightforward across the board. 4 attacks. That's it. He has leadership of 9, so he's got a higher leadership than most things, and he has a 2+ armor save. Highest armor save in the entire book. 2+ armor save. Not a Shadowfield invulnerable save, 2+ armor save. So in cover, 1+ armor save. Quite awesome. I'm excited about that. He is armed with demiclaves. That's the only weapon he has. And only 1 Drazhar may be included in your army. So what are the demiclaves? Every time the bearer attacks with demiclaves, they must choose one of the 2 profiles for the demiclaves. The first is a single blade, so you can wield them essentially as one big blade. And it's melee weapon, +1 strength, -3 AP, 1 damage. That's it. Or he can run them as dual blades. Dual blades are strength of user, so they'd be strength 4, -2 AP instead of 3, 1 damage, and he can make 2 additional attacks. So if he's using demiclaves, he will have 6 attacks in combat. If he's using the single blade, he is attacking with 4 attacks in combat. He has no options whatsoever. Being a named character, they usually have less named options or options. So what are his abilities? He is Drukhari, so he gets the power from pain, which means it's a bonus that he gets per turn. To recap, turn 1, he gets a 6+ female pain. Turn 2, he can reroll charge and advance rolls. Turn 3, he gets +1 to hit. Turn 4, he is immune to morale. And turn 5, any enemy unit within 6 inches is -1 leadership. So he will benefit from the feel no pain. He will benefit in the beginning of the game with the reroll charge and advance. And on turn 3, he will benefit from the +1. The +1 to hit is good if he's attacking stuff that's -1 to hit. And the morale one is useless. And the -1 leadership is decent. So you know what? Power from pain is a great rule. It really helps most Drukhari stuff. Eternal Warrior is a rule, an ability for him. He has a 5+ invulnerable save. So 2+ armor, 5+ invulnerable save. So you'll only ever really be using that against weapons that are minus 3 AP. No, minus 2, 3, 4. Yeah, minus, for anything above minus 4 AP, essentially. Minus 4, you're getting a 5+ save. So up to, so minus 2 and minus 3 doesn't really affect it. It only come to play against stuff that's minus 4 AP. He has Murderous Assault. If Drahzar charges in the charge phase, he can fight an additional time in the next fight phase. So he gets to fight twice on any turn that he charges. So not only is he going in with 4 attacks or 6, he can attack twice. That's 8 or 12. So really you want to get him stuck in, and he wants to be the one that's jumping into combat. Now he has a special rule, which is a rule Incubi got in the Codex, which is called Tormentors. Every time your opponent makes a morale test within 6 inches of an Incubi unit, if the result is equal to the highest leadership, so if they just pass their leadership test, the test is failed and 1 model flees, which means that it's sort of like a -1, but it's very specific as if it equals the highest leadership. So it's kind of handy. You know, on the off chance that, you know, they're like, you know, if they would just pass the leadership. So it's good to keep that in mind. Very situational, but could come in handy at some point. Last but not least, he has the Master of Blades rule. Add 1 to hit rolls for friendly Incubi units whilst they're within 1 inch of Drahzar. So he gives himself +1 to hit. He gives all Incubi +1 to hit. And of course, if there's other, you know, for Power from Pain, starting turn 3, they get +1 to hit on top of that for Power from Pain. So they get +2 to hit. Now this can be really handy against things like Nurgle and stuff like that. It has all these negative modifiers to hit. When you jump in, Incubi will be more than likely efficient at hitting, especially with Drahzar around, which means that turn 1 and 2, they will be hitting on 2s, most Incubi will. Drahzar will be hitting on 2s anyway. But it helps buff units of Incubi around him, which is not bad. And we'll get to the Incubi in later videos, but let me know what you think about that rule. Faction keywords, Eldari, Drukhari, Incubi, and keywords, character, infantry, and Drahzar. And that, fellow Archons, is Drahzar, the Master of Blades. So let me know if you've used him. Me personally, yes, I have some experience. Everything I talk about on the channel, I have physically used in-game. No theory crafting hammer over here. I've actually had practical application with all the units that I talk about. Drahzar itself has been relatively useful to just jump in and kill a bunch of guys. He suffers against characters and things that have multiple wounds, because none of his attacks do multiple wounds. Now, even a Clavex, we'll get to the Incubi later, have an ability to get multiple damage on targets, making attacks up to 3 damage, which can cut the heads off things that have 3 wounds. But Drahzar relies on volume of 1 damage attacks in order to do damage. Now this can lead him to get bogged down. And to be honest, he's not as efficient as you might think. But if you put him with a couple of big units of Incubi and use him as a very big freight train, you know, putting a lot of pressure on your opponent, or on a small unit of Incubi in a Raider, for example, they can be more of a scalpel-like application of the unit. So let me know how you have used Drahzar, the Master of Blades, and what your favorite combination or use of him is in-game. Leave a comment down below and let's start a bit of discussion here. I hope you're enjoying all these cool video contents, and like, share, and subscribe the videos to tell your friends about how awesome Drukhari are now. I have no shame because I've been playing them forever. Now that they're good, I still have no shame. Leave a comment below, check the links to all the other videos, and if you'd like to support the channel, get some exclusive content, and become a part of the Denizen community, check me out on Patreon. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. This is Skari, your grateful host, signing off until next time. Skari out.
It's an exclusive. We're playing the game.